You're welcome back for Tuesday morning here. We always find it very, very interesting when we have our health experts here to talk to us about very interesting facts that we might not know about. On Health Today, we are talking about medicines to manage the effect of arthritis with Oluwatomi Ladega, Superintendent Pharmacist at Drugstock. You are welcome once again.
Thank you. Good
morning.
morning.
I'm happy that you're here again.
Thank you.
All right, so today we're talking arthritis, yes? Yeah. First off, there are so many definitions that we need to go through before we can actually land this conversation. Okay. So could you tell us exactly what arthritis is?
Okay. So arthritis is actually a broad term used to define inflammation of the joints, right? So you have like over 100 different types of arthritis, but the common ones that we know is the osteoarthritis. So basically what happens is that in between your joints, you have what you call the cartilage.
Okay.
Right. So that is what serves as a form of lubricant.
Oh.
So when you're moving your joints, you find out that it's not gliding on each other.
Okay.
The cartilage is what helps both joints to move. Okay. Right. It's a connective tissue. Oh, okay. So inflammation of the connective tissues of the body is generally what is termed as arthritis. Okay. Yeah.
So there are other, I don't know, but I feel like there are other issues that might seem like arthritis. I don't know if they are part of arthritis. Personally, I suffered for most of last year from something called Dequa veins and also carpal tunnel syndrome as well. So my wrists and some certain sensations and all of that, is that part of it? Could that be said to be arthritis?
Anything that affects your joints is a form of arthritis. Okay. Inflammation of the joints.
Okay. And this is the one most people will know about, or most people will complain about when it gets to this time of year or in June or July when it's cold. They often would complain of stiffness and pains in their joints. Yeah. Would that be part of it?
Well, until you get to the hospital and explain. So that may be a symptom. It may not necessarily be arthritis. Oh, okay. Right. So it may be a symptom of when you have overuse of your body system, wear and tear, basically. Yeah. Wear and tear of your body system usually will lead to some form of stiffness. Okay. Right. So it depends. So if you're not very mobile, if you don't exercise regularly, you could have some form of stiffness and not necessarily arthritis. Okay,
so now that you said that, let's talk about managing it, and then let's talk about drugs to help manage it. So how can we manage arthritis? Okay,
so in management of arthritis, really, the goal is to relieve the pain, because pain will definitely come with it. Remember I said your bones are gliding against each other, so there's some form of pain. So the first thing will be to manage the pain. The second thing will be to reduce the effect of the pain, right? So in management of pain management is a basic treatment in arthritis. So you have your analgesics, which will generally reduce the pain, the likes of your acetaminophen and all of that. Tylenol, I should mention any brand. But that will not reduce inflammation. In arthritis, there is always usually inflammation. Okay. Your analgesics will reduce the pain, but would not really have any effect on inflammation. Now, to have positive effect for inflammation, you will need to use like an NSAID. NSAID, that's non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Okay. The likes of your ibuprofen, diclofenac, but those should not be used on empty stomach. Okay. You must use those ones after food because they usually have some side effects if you don't use with food. Okay. Now, there are other medications you will use which would usually be prescribed. They are prescriptive drugs by the doctors. Your muscle relaxants, basically, most of them usually contain analgesics, or doctors will usually prescribe them alongside analgesics and your NSAIDs.
The three things. First off, reduction of pain. Second, reduction of inflammation. Yeah. And then thirdly, you mentioned muscle relaxants? Yes. What do the muscles have to do with these cartilages that lubricate our joints?
Don't forget, so I mentioned that tissues, connective tissues, cartilage helps lubricate, right? But arthritis has to do with the connective tissues.
Muscle to bone to, okay. Oh, very interesting. So,
but then I should also mention that always remember that drugs are poisons, right? So usually in the treatment or management of any disease condition in the body, there are always lifestyle modifications. So part of things that will cause arthritis, or part of the leading factors to arthritis, will be things like your weight, obesity, right? Because, for example, if you have it on the knee, most times because your
body's weighing down on your knees.
So you would, even if you're using pain analgesics and NSAIDs, you would want to watch your weight. You would want to exercise more often. You would want to watch your diet. And for some people, it's hereditary. All right. So with that, there is really nothing you can do to it. But you also don't want to eat anyhow, add obesity to all of that. Yes.
So what's the relationship between the weather, it being cold, and these pains that most people who suffer from arthritis complain about? Okay,
so I'll link it to this. In management of, or in treatment of, well, not treatment, in managing arthritis, there is also the cold. You can add cold and heat therapy, right?
That confuses me. I'm glad you're talking about that.
Okay, so I'll explain a bit. You also usually need to see a physiotherapist. Now, you apply cold therapy when you want to manage pain and inflammation. You apply heat when you need a form of lubrication. For example, you want to go on your exercise in the morning and you have some form of stiffness, right? The heat therapy would help to lubricate. So you'll be able to, flex your, But for cold, you're trying to manage inflammation, swelling. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because the jury is still out on that, because everybody's like, on forums when you're talking with your friends, and like, oh, I suffer from arthritis. They're like, oh yeah, I add a cold pad, what's it called? No, use hot. So it's very confusing. So what exactly do you, well, you've just explained that, and that's very, very interesting. With lifestyle modifications and these management therapies and all of that, is it something that can be absolutely eliminated once a person starts to suffer from it?
So the best thing is to prevent it, right? Once you have it, the best you can do is to manage it. All right, it's almost like saying you can't treat hypertension. What you do is to manage the condition. Same thing with arthritis. What you do is to manage it and to reduce it from becoming worse.
These drugs, do they have any adverse effect on people when they take them, say, before work, maybe operating heavy machinery or anything like that, these management drugs?
Okay, so the ones I mentioned are basically non-drowsy. But of course, like I said, your NSAIDs and your NSAID should not be used on empty stomach. You also have some supplements which you can also use. All right, so supplements containing omega-3. Omega-3 would usually help a lot. Your chondroitin and glucosamine. So chondroitin and glucosamine are natural components of the cartilage, right? So to garnish that, to build that up the more, you can use the synthetic glucosamine and chondroitin in addition to your supplements, so that you can help.
Do these supplements and vitamins really work? Because you often have to always take them, and that's a terrible routine every single day. I'm like, because I've got bottles of them on my dining table. Yes, I haven't moved them. I'll move them. And they're still full. I barely ever touched them.
My darling, the thing is, in this part of the world especially, you don't get all the supplements you need
from our diet.
Exactly. Yeah. Vitamin D is another one I should mention.
Yeah, I've got a full bottle of that.
So you should use that. And vitamin D deficiency is usually linked to arthritis a lot of the time. So people who have arthritis would usually be prescribed vitamin D supplements as well.
Oh, wow.
So your supplements are vitamin D, omega-3, chondroitin, and glucosamine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's very interesting. There's also plenty of hard work and all of that stuff.
So you can also get the likes of your omega-3, your fatty acids from food. Like your fatty fishes. Yeah.
Fish, huh?
Yes.
Okay. The cod liver oil and stuff like that?
Yes,
that's
exactly.
it? Okay.
Exactly.
Very interesting. Well, thank you very much, Ladega, for coming and telling us again once about this.